Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Hazelwood Cemetery in Springfield, Missouri. The cemetery dates back to 1867. It is a very large cemetery. Definitely a lot of Springfieldians or locals and past residents are buried here. And there are quite a few famous interments, including a few congressmen. But there is one guy who I will be visiting. He is responsible for penning a few soundtrack songs from the 80s that we still listen to today. One of them won an Oscar for Best Song for the movie. And yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you all about it. So I believe the cemetery also shares its space with Springfield National Cemetery, which I've yet to do an episode on. I was actually there 4 years ago, but it's very nice. Kind of a windy day. We just had a storm here last night in Springfield. All right, Tom Whitlock is the name of the person I'll be visiting today. He was born February 20th, 1954 here in Springfield, Missouri. As a boy growing up here, he was inspired by the national TV show Ozark Jubilee, which was actually taped here in downtown Springfield. Now, I featured in one of my past videos, but for those who are not familiar with it, it was the TV show in the 1950s that helped expose America to country and western music, and it featured a lot of talent, nationwide talent. A lot of it became famous for that TV show. But a lot of country music musicians would visit the city regularly, and Tom would actually, I believe he would go to the studio or he would see some of the country music musicians, and he was inspired to play some music. So Tom would actually take up drumming, and he would find work as a session musician. He would also learn to write songs. He attended Glendale High School here, and then he would attend Drury University. However, he never finished his studies. But it wasn't until 1998, years later, when the school awarded Tom Whitlock an honorary degree in music, thanks to his later success. Now, Tom was in a couple notable Midwestern bands. I mean, they were mostly like performing in the Ozark region, like in the Lake of the Ozarks in southern Missouri, maybe St. Louis and KC, but I don't know that for sure. But in 1983, Tom relocated to Los Angeles, hoping to start a new life and a new band, having enough of the Midwest. But he would quickly fall in with Italian music producer and songwriter Giorgio Moroder. Moroder would put Tom to work as an engineer for recordings on soundtracks such as Scarface, Beverly Hills Cop, and Flashdance. Cool work, wouldn't you say? Now, he wasn't writing songs, he was just engineering. Like, you'll see his name on the credits on Beverly Hills Cop as the engineer. But pretty soon, I believe as late as 1985, Giorgio and Tom would collaborate in songwriting for an upcoming project called Top Gun, which, as we all know, became a hit movie. It was the top movie of 1986. And it was also, of course, the movie was great, but it also had a very hit soundtrack, which hit #1 on the Billboard charts. So Giorgio would compose the music, while Tom would be the lyricist for the songs Take My Breath Away and Danger Zone, as well as 3 other tracks on the record. Now, Danger Zone was recorded by the soundtrack king, Kenny Loggins. And then Take My Breath Away was actually offered to the 80s group, the Motels. And I don't really know what happened. I don't know if they turned it down or whatever, but Berlin was kind of a mid-level pop new wave act at the time. But they ended up recording the song, and that would be their biggest hit, as it would hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And then it would eventually win Best Song at the Academy Awards the next year. But the award actually went to the songwriter, which of course was Tom Whitlock and Giorgio Moroder. The songs would still be played today all over the place, especially on radio stations. They've got hundreds of millions of streams. And Take My Breath Away is also noted for its key change. And according to the ASCAP's website, it says that Tom has written 113 songs, and several big names have recorded them. I mean, there's just way too many to list. And on top of that, Giorgio and Tom would also collaborate on songs for major events such as the 1988 Summer Olympics and the 1990 FIFA World Cup. One of his last projects was for the 1999 film 10 Things I Hate About You, which starred Heath Ledger. In his later years, he would unfortunately suffer from Alzheimer's, and this is his final resting place right here. Thomas Ross Whitlock. He passed away 2 years ago. This is May 2025 as I'm doing this. And these are his parents. Now, it said that his mother's name was Peg, but I'm assuming that was her nickname. It says on her stone, Mary Margaret McQuaid Whitlock. She passed away in 2005. Ross died pretty young. He was 45. Wow. But yeah, this is his pop. So it's very bizarre that the man behind a lot of songs that we still sing along to and a lot of songs that we still enjoy today, no matter how many times we've heard them in the last 40 some years, is buried right here in Springfield, Missouri. I don't even think a lot of residents even know that he's buried here, or who the person was that wrote the songs. Now, Whitlock also wrote songs from movies such as American Anthem. He also wrote a few songs from the Over the Top soundtrack, including Winner Takes It All by Sammy Hagar, and another song from the soundtrack king, Kenny Loggins. Yes, that song, Meet Me Halfway. It's funny, I was on the way down here from all the way to Springfield. I was listening to 80s on 8 and I heard Meet Me Halfway, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to visit this songwriter's grave. But he was 68 years old, and if you ask me, that is young. I mean, to get Alzheimer's that young is definitely tragic as well. But he was survived by his sister, and I don't know if she's from this area or lives in this area or not, but I thought I'd come check out this notable grave site here. I'm going to give you a little close-up of that. Rest in peace, Mr. Tom Whitlock, a songwriter whose songs we'll still be singing years from now.